Good morning, viewers. Today in this video, I'm going to explain you about the important sources of business law. Right? It's just this topic is very important for the graduates. Depends upon the management program or commerce degree. So they should know about whenever they are entering into an organization or when they are starting up the business. Right? There are certain rules and regulations are there. Of course, you know based on these rules and regulations, right? What are the different sources are there for generating this kind of a business law? We'll discuss one by one. So there are many sources are there. These are the some of the sources. First one is constitution. Second one is legislation or statute. Third one is a natural law. Fourth one is the English law. Fifth one is ordinance. Sixth one is administrative law and dharma. And the final one is law, merchant, and equity. These are the one of the major as well as very important sources of enacting the various laws, right, with respect to our Indian Constitution and based on the various acts, right. We will give you the explanation about one by one. First, if we talk about the first sources called Constitution, right? Basically Constitution, right? We belong, or we all belongs to our same country, India, and our nation as a constitution. You are already right. A Constitution of India, preamble, where there are certain rules and regulations are applicable to the citizen, to the people those are living in this country. So this is one of the fundamental sources of our country, of our nation. And under this particular constitution, so there may be a lot of rules and regulations has been enacted by the state and central government. So under this, we have three different bodies. Or the one is legislative assembly, executive assembly, and judicial court. This is the first major source. Followed by that, if you see the second major source of law, right, legislation or state, which is a law or regulation act passed by the legislative assembly with respect to a certain state, right, or by the central government. So this is also one of the common source. If we take any laws, any rules and regulations, any act, right, whether you belongs to this particular state or state A or state B, right, it is coming under the rules and regulation of both state and central government, which is passed by the all the bodies and will be approved and it is followed by our country as well as by the respective state. This is the second important source called legislation or statute. The third one is called as a natural law, right? This is like based on it is also called as a natural justice, and this is like where we can able to find out whether the people are engaged in any criminal activities, or is there any guidance or there is there any regulations are there to make the individuals to avoid doing a certain mistakes or involving in any criminal activities. Right, they should know if you are involved in this as per this act, you have a punishment. This is generally known to everyone. So based on these regulations, right, since we all remember about these regulations, these are all coming under the crime or criminal activities or illegal activities, and we are not ready to engage in those activities. We are very much caution about that. This is about the third important sources of law called natural law. And the fourth one is English law, right? Our country has got independence, and before that, it was ruled by the British government. And once we got independence and we made as a separate country and a separate constitution, most of the constitutions, most of the regulations, right, have been enacted by referring the sources of the various English law, where all these acts and regulations are followed by British government. Then followed by that, you have a fifth important sources called ordinance, where this is related to the regulations are followed by the local authorities, like how we have a legislative and then a judicial and parliament, right? Even if you take, so this particular rules will be applicable to this particular region or the particular zone, or maybe this particular region comes under this particular panchayat or the Zilla Panchayat or the municipality, right? Right. It's all depend upon the location-based regulations. This is comes under the sources called ordinance. It is related to the people, those who are living in the particular region a zone which is a part of the municipality or a panchayat, all right, whatever it is. When you come to the sixth important sources of law is called administrative law. Right, this is also one of the important sources of law where it is applicable to all the activities of the administration services provided by the state as well as the central government for the public people. Anything that you want to approach, anything you want to fulfill, anything you want to record, right? It has to be approached to the respective state or central government, and every state government has the district, right? And then the towns, municipality. Under that, whatever the services you want to get as a public people, as an individual, as a citizen of our country, you can able to use this. So, as per the law, which is followed under administrative, the government has to follow those rules and regulations to provide those administration services to the public people. Followed by that, you have dharma. This is one of the law which is followed in those days, ancient days. Right, you know, right? When the kings was ruling the entire country or the region, right? The certain territory, they have a certain principles. How we have a basic principles in our life. Similarly, there are certain principles which is followed in those days. That is namely as a named as dharma. This is also one of the sources of law. From this also, certain rules and regulations, justice principles, code has been enacted by the Indian government. The next one of the sources of law is called law merchant, which is applicable only to the people, those who are engaged in the commercial activities in terms of trade, business, right, or contract agreement involving with between the countries, between the state, between the two parties regarding the trade and commercial practices. For those things, they had enacted this law, right? And the final one is called equity. Right. This is also one of the major sources which is talking about the law part, right, which is rules and regulation, and also the equity matters also. That means it's all depend upon how it is equal. It is not like rules and regulations are made for each and every individual. Certain rules are common, right? If you belongs to this particular category A or B, whatever it is, certain rules are common to each and every one. Right. This is applicable to one of the sources called equity. So you have a certain laws under our country called Specific Performance Act. So which ensures that you will get a remedials for whatever you are expecting, whatever you need. When you have any problems, right? It can be related to your business, it can be related to your personal things, or maybe the asset property. This is about the equity. So these are the major sources of law where it has been enacted by the various rules and regulation of our Indian constitution. And these are the sources are referred, and then our Indian country has enacted the various act. And you all know about all these things, right? And we will be learning about the various acts and other rules and regulation elements in the upcoming video. Right. With that, we will end this video and we will discuss about the other parts of the business law in the next video. Thank you.